So nobody talks about this part of reinventing yourself, the awkward phase, where you're not who you were anymore and you're not who you're going to become yet.
We thought now's a really good time to explore this because I bet you can relate to this.
Hi, I'm Cliff.
And I'm Cheryl.
And this is Closer to Happy. And before we get going, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. It helps our channel a lot.
Thank you.
And this week, we're really happy to be sponsored by italki. italki, who has already saved us from many embarrassing moments.
So every big change has a messy middle, but at our stage of life, it kind of hits differently. Before you were really competent, and now maybe not in everything.
Before you knew how to navigate through life, you knew who you were, you knew when you went to a party, when people said, what do, you know what to say. You just were confident in how you engaged with the world. And then all of a sudden, when you throw yourself into a new pool and you're learning how to swim, there are so many pieces of that you took for granted that all of a sudden are a challenge.
That ego whiplash is real, and nobody really prepares you for it.
So we've talked before about the importance of learning a language when you move to a new country. And there are some awkward situations that come up when you don't quite know the language well enough yet. Our friend Ray, who's watching this, I'm sure. Hey, Ray. He'll comment, tell me if I was full of it or not. Ray moved to Spain and he met some new friends and he was invited to a party. And of course, you want to integrate, you want to get out and meet people. So Ray went to this party. What he didn't realize is that everyone at the party spoke Spanish.
Ray actually speaks pretty good Spanish.
Yeah, Ray is way better than us.
Maybe not as good as Ray thought.
But Ray was with real experts who actually were born and raised in Spain. So they were riffing and talking to each other and laughing. And Ray, of course, to fit in was like, yeah. And that can get you in a lot of trouble because everyone thinks you're tracking. Fast forward 5 hours later, Ray was still there. He didn't know how to exit the party because he wasn't sure of what signals he was picking up or not. And so when Ray told us that story, we laughed really hard because, man, can we relate to that.
Totally.
And that is one of the reasons why we're really happy with this week's sponsor, which is italki.
One of the most awkward parts of reinvention is communication. And we're finding that you're not able to express yourself in the way that you're usually able to.
And we're not trying to master Spanish. That takes a long time, and we know that. We're just trying to become a little more confident with our conversations and our fluidity and our communication. So when we get in a conversation with people, we know what they're saying and they know what we're saying.
Really, just like our day-to-day interactions, right? It's really just having a competence. At this stage of life, we're not necessarily chasing fluency. We're just trying to gain enough confidence that we lower the emotional friction.
So our sponsor, italki, one of the things we love about them is that we have one-on-one lessons with no classroom pressure. I personally get very freaked out by classrooms, as Cheryl can tell you, about the time that I was taking a Spanish class with her in Arizona. I spoke and she cracked up and had to leave the room. So embarrassing, I never went back. And that's why I'm using italki right now, because my wife completely messed me up. As real people with real conversations, it's flexible scheduling, which is really great because our lives are kind of crazy and all over the place right now. So that works wonderfully well. And we learn at our own pace. So Cheryl can move along at her speed and I can enviously watch from far behind.
I think what worked for us about italki is it felt like a safe space to be awkward.
As opposed to Arizona Spanish class? Yeah, I think so. Our teacher has been really wonderful and understanding and super sweet, and we've been learning a lot. And again, when we have to go and do a specific event or we're going to travel or something, we can run through some of the scenarios on what we're going to say with her. And it really allows you to be able to practice what you really are going to need.
We only recommend products that we've tried and that we genuinely like, and italki definitely fits in that category.
And you can sign up for free in the link below, and if you use our code, Closer to Happy, you're going to get €5 off the first class of at least €10.
Yeah, and that's only for the first 50 people, so hurry up.
So what are you waiting for? No, wait, finish the video first, then do it.
Exactly. There's another kind of awkwardness that we didn't really see coming, and it had nothing to do with language. We were in our company, we built a company together for 25 years, and our careers completely identified us. It's who we were in the world. And when we left 3 years ago, it was talk about stepping into the unknown and talk about being incredibly uncomfortable and awkward. I mean,
It was our identity. We had really identified ourselves in that role. And what you did for a living may or may not be part of that, but it can't lead with that. And that is an awkward middle part that we're talking about.
It is. And it's like, you know, I find myself when people do ask, like, oh, what do you do? Which is a very American thing. They don't necessarily do that here.
That's true, which is another thing we really love about Spain.
But when people ask, what do you do? It's like, I find myself giving these really long-winded sort of, well, I used to do this, but now I kind of do this and I'm kind of retired, but not entirely. And, you know, it's just really awkward.
You know what we never say? We have a YouTube channel. We never say that. That's weird to us. This is such a weird thing for us.
Only you guys know.
Yeah.
Only you guys know that we have a YouTube
Just between us. But there are things that we're trying to incorporate back in our lives that are what we were, but done in a new way. So I think this is really important. The messy middle has to just be redefined to be what you want it to be now. And that's really, really important. And it's not easy, and you should talk about it with people. Because if you're just suffering in silence, or you don't want to walk into a party because you're freaking out about what people are going to ask you, or what you're going to say to the question, then I really think it's a really good thing to share this kind of thought, because this is something we all go through.
I think that goes for parenting too, right? It's
Right.
like your mom, you're like, you know, involved in the schools, you're involved in that's your identity.
All your friends are your kids'
Everything,
parents.
everything.
right?
And so much of your identity is tied up in that. And then your kids grow up, and guess what? There's a really big gaping hole
Yeah.
where all of that lived. When you take career and kids all at the same time, it was really fairly traumatic, I have to say. Looking back, I think we're coming out the other side
Yeah.
and not feeling so traumatized, but
But I think this is important because when you get through the discomfort of change, you do adjust, and you have to remember that you will adjust. And even if it feels terrible right this minute, or you have those moments when you're second guessing everything that you're doing because it's completely new and you don't even recognize yourself anymore, but historically in your life, it's always ended up that you've worked it out. You've figured it out. You've come out the other side.
and you will now too.
And you will now too. And that's what's exciting about this. That's why we all need this little push at this point in the process and in our lives. Because it's either this, or you just fall back on sitting on your couch and being overly comfortable.
Right. And then there's the entirely different awkwardness of not necessarily fitting in anywhere. So for us, we live in Spain now. When we go back to the US, you would expect that we would go in and just feel like, bam, we're home, and it doesn't feel like that,
Right.
which is really uncomfortable.
And that threw us for a loop because we weren't expecting that. But the US feels different, you know? The energy is different. The pace is different. It's louder there. It's more expensive there. And it feels a little more hectic there, and a little more crowded too. In Spain, we feel like we're part of Spain, but not integrated yet. We're of two worlds, and we're not 100% in either one.
Look, it's uncomfortable, but we've really come to believe that it's necessary, because you don't really get to carry your old life fully intact into your new one. There's going to be a gap, and that gap is very uncomfortable.
There's a famous quote that you cannot find new oceans without losing sight of the shore for a very long time.
Awkwardness means you're stretching, and comfort is not the same as happiness.
Or it would be closer to comfort. That's a terrible name.
Terrible name. At this stage of reinvention, I think awkwardness is just a necessary part of the journey. Reinvention requires you to become a beginner again.
And you know, most people quit here. At that point, most people give up. But awkwardness is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're on the right track. You may be a little earlier than you want to be from your comfort zone, but you're definitely on to something. So don't quit. And this is not advice. This is just observation.
So if you're in the awkward phase right now, kind of fumbling, feeling exposed, second guessing every little decision, you're not doing it wrong.
You're doing the part that most people never get to, you know? So pat yourself on the back and to keep going.
And if language is part of your awkward phase, we've put a link to italki below with our discount code, which is closer to happy, for €5 off your first class.
So if you've found yourself being a wreck lately, share it with us so we can feel better about ourselves. And then come back for more, because if you like and subscribe to our channel, you know where to find us. Okay? Ciao.